On today's podcast, we'll be covering 4 what-if situations, so stay tuned. Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. You can find the show notes to each episode, links to information mentioned on the podcast, the social media platforms we're on, and anything else related to the podcast at warehousesafetytips.com. Now, if you're a seasoned podcast listener, this podcast is going to be different from most you listen to. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money and each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all of that out of the way, let's get to the podcast. For the 4 what-if situations that we've chosen, we'll be going from what we feel and or hope are most likely to occur down to the least likely. And although we'll be doing a high-level look at each of the 4, we'll dive deeper into each one in upcoming episodes. With that said, let's start with injuries. Injuries can be anything from a simple cut to something requiring medical attention and everything in between. Regardless of the severity, here are a couple things that you'll want to know. First and foremost, all injuries need to be reported to management. What you think is simple at the moment could change at any time, and management needs to know all the particulars. Next, training is always part of injury prevention and procedures. You'll need to know, including but not limited to, how to best avoid issues by wearing the proper safety gear and following the rules of the job by the book, where first aid stations are in your area should you need them, basic procedures to follow until someone trained to handle injuries arrives, and who to talk to should an injury occur. Next in our what-if situations are things to do should you experience a power outage. Again, this is going to be from a high level, but you'll need to know, including but not limited to stay calm and not panic. Even if your facility is equipped with an emergency generator or some sort of a battery-operated light, you should still know where a flashlight is and use it to direct yourself and others to safety. Assure that no one's left behind and take roll when you get to a safe zone. Go to the nearest available exit. Have kits prepared for whatever situations could arise. And when returning to work, be very mindful of issues that could arise from machinery or equipment starting back up once the power has been restored. Before moving on, here's a word from one of our sponsors. If you've ever been to or worked in a warehouse, you know just how important safety is to both management and staff. It's almost impossible to go 10 steps without seeing safety tape, angles, signs, and or safety products. It's these items that show us how to be safe and avoid danger in the workplace. And if you're looking for the best products to make this happen, look no further than Mighty Line. Mighty Line floor signs and floor markings offer the best industrial products out there. We're proud to have Mighty Line as the official floor sign and floor marking company for the Warehouse Safety Tips podcast and site. Go to mightylinetape.com/safety tips to request a sample pack of their incredible safety signs and floor markings. Now back to the podcast. Our next what-if situation has to do with fires and, most importantly, fire prevention. Again, this is going to be from a high level, but you'll need to know, including but not limited to stay calm and not panic, where all the fire-related safety areas and controls are in your facility, and the procedures for implementing them. This could be anything from a fire extinguisher to a halon system and everything in between. Who to contact should a fire occur, the fire exits and evacuation plan for your facility, and that someone is taking roll once you get into safe zones to assure everyone's safe. Our last what-if situations are ones that rarely occur, and that's tornadoes and hurricanes. Now, not to sound like a broken record, but this is from a high level, and you'll need to know, including but not limited to, regardless of it being a drill or the real thing, you need to reasonably drop what you're doing and proceed to a designated safety area ASAP. Stay calm and not panic, and assure that roll is taken once you've arrived in your designated safety area and everyone's accounted for. With all four of our what-if situations and any other things that could occur, the way your facility handles each situation is not necessarily always the best way. You hope the trainings and procedures that you have in place are best, but if you're following a 5S or lean methodology, then you know you should always be on the lookout for constant and never-ending improvement. Be sure to let management know if you have an idea to improve any procedure. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. If you visit warehousesafetytips.com, you'll find the show notes for this episode and access to all of our blog posts, previous podcasts, advertiser information, and much more. Thank you for listening to Warehouse Safety Tips, and have a safe day.